Complete communities are welcoming places in which people can live and learn, work and play. They're shaped by planning systems, by urban design, and by the architecture of buildings. This presentation defines and describes urban design, the design of the public realm and places experienced by everyone in a community. First, this presentation defines complete communities. Next, it defines urban design and describes the community design elements that are considered in making complete communities. We also consider why these subjects matter, how good urban design leads to good outcomes for people in complete communities. Finally, we take a look at the role urban design can play in community change over time. When we say complete communities, we mean communities that include a healthy mix of the housing types and jobs that reflect the needs of the whole community, promote equity, and include many choices for mobility or moving around. In complete communities, buildings and streets are thought of and designed together with the goal of creating lively, thriving places for people. In designing complete communities, we need to pay attention to both the buildings and the spaces between them, including streets and sidewalks, parks, and public spaces. Streets are designed for maximum access, enjoyment, and safety for all people, whether walking, riding bikes, using buses or trains, or driving. Transit station areas typically include the 1.5 mile around stations. These areas can be designed compactly, mixing uses in order to save energy and water, and can house riders and provide them and others in the community with a mix of services and amenities that they need for daily living and special occasions. New development, wherever it's located, should improve the physical, economic, and social environment. It should serve and include the full range of people that already live nearby and welcome others. Urban design is the design of the public realm and places experienced by everyone in a community. Urban design considers where buildings and open spaces are located, how people make connections and move around, and the services and technology people need to live their lives. We will define and describe the 9 elements that comprise urban design. They include where community elements are located, what uses are included, and how they're connected and served. Mobility, including how people get around, how cars are parked, and how buildings are served, is also addressed. Sustainability and urban design for resilience, in other words, the ability of communities and people to withstand shocks from changes in climate or natural disasters, will also be described. Finally, we will describe some of the new technologies that are making our cities smarter. In the urban design of communities, considering the appropriate location is an important place to start. Communities or projects can be placed in infill sites, filling in open or underused areas within existing urban areas. They can be located in undeveloped or greenfield land outside an existing urban area, or they can be located on brownfield sites where previous uses have left pollution or trash behind. Each of these 3 different types of sites can have different positive and negative impacts on the environment, the economy, and the health and well-being of our society. Urban designers consider the compatibility of uses in designing communities. Some uses complement each other better than others. Pollution-emitting uses, such as the factory in the image on the left, are incompatible with sports fields on which young people are physically active, while a toy store and an adult business are not good neighbors. A cafe and housing units can share space quite happily. It is very important for urban designers to consider the full range of the population that might use the city, town, neighborhood, or project they are designing. Some have called this designing for those aged from 8 to 80. The uses considered by urban designers include publicly and privately owned spaces, as well as the public and community spaces in between them. Providing places for people to gather within communities is important to urban designers. Gathering places can be public or private, whether in outdoor spaces associated with buildings or in residential homes. In residences, the outdoor spaces adjacent to the street or the front yards play a big role in the way residential communities are perceived and lived in. Form refers to the mass of a building or built object. Spaces are formed between buildings or other physical objects in communities, such as public art. The scale and proportion of buildings is observed relative to other things around it, such as other buildings or the size of a person. One building can complement or overpower the building sitting next to it, in part depending on their relative scale. Building scale should also be considered in relation to the width of the streets on which buildings sit. Scale can also be deceptive. A large building may seem small next to an even larger building. As cities evolve over time, we are faced with differences in scale. Designing connectivity into a community ensures that people of different backgrounds, ages, and abilities can shop, live, work, and play within a place, ideally without having to use a car. Connections can be physical and social, so connectivity in communities is also about ensuring that different groups of people can connect to and interact with each other in common spaces. Streets can be primary places in which people can connect with each other and access goods and services. Some very popular and well-used streets, like the ones in these pictures from here in California and around the world, serve only people on foot, either all or part of the time. Connectivity in complete communities is supported by providing a range of mobility choices, including buses, trains, and cars, as well as walking, biking, and rolling on other wheeled devices. Newer mobility choices are challenging the traditional idea of streets as mostly places for cars and buses. This is causing new challenges for urban designers to accommodate increasingly popular modes of travel, including skateboards and scooters, which may not easily fit either on sidewalks or in streets. Also, greater demand for access to streets for fun and enjoyment has caused the rise of open street events, which close streets to vehicles and open them only to people walking and riding bikes and other human-powered devices. Public transportation provides a necessary mobility choice for many people in our communities. Public transportation options include high-volume mass transit systems that move a lot of people. Urban designers consider a range of elements serving those systems, from rail stations to bus stops. The quality of design of these spaces influences their usefulness and perceived safety and attractiveness to riders and potential riders. Complete streets should accommodate a wide range of users and promote a lively life on the street. While urban designers think about how well streets serve vehicles, designing complete streets requires them to consider the needs and safety of every kind of user, including people in vehicles and people walking and biking. Walkable and bikeable streets enable the most use of the street right-of-way for all users. They provide mobility choices and result in a vibrant environment. The term street wall refers to the edge that's created to frame the street by the buildings developed along it. The street wall is most influenced by the architecture of the building's ground floor and 2 to 3 floors above grade. The street wall most impacts and influences pedestrians. If it is interesting, porous, transparent, or open, and well lighted, it can encourage walking, stopping, sitting, and enjoying the street. This is good for people and for business. Complete street design for all types of users, sensitive building design, and the amenities provided in the public right-of-way for the benefit of the community, each plays a role in encouraging a vibrant street life. Amenities placed in the public realm can include integrated public stairs for connections and gathering. Other amenities can include public art, seating, landscaping and shade, lighting, and space for outdoor dining areas. It is important to provide enough, but not too much, parking, and to locate parking in areas where it will least impact building frontages and street life for pedestrians. Buildings can be sensitively designed to accommodate parking without creating dangerous interactions between drivers and pedestrians at driveways or in parking lots themselves. On-street parking in complete streets can separate people on sidewalks from moving traffic, but also can create conflicts between people on bicycles and buses and automobiles. Providing parking in locations that serve multiple uses can allow community members to accomplish many tasks in one trip. Many different services are needed in complete communities, from fire and police services to goods delivery and trash and recycling pickup. Also, communities are served by water, sewer, and power systems, the location of which has an impact on the design of streets, sidewalks, and buildings. Locations for all of these services must be considered by designers so we avoid conflicts in street design and support access for all street users. Sustainably designing urban areas ensures we consider habitats and natural resource conservation and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, energy and water use, and the heat island effect created by paving and building over land. Increasingly, designers are focusing on ensuring that urban areas are resilient to shocks that will come from rising temperatures, as well as natural disasters like earthquakes, intense storms, and floods. New technologies are affecting every facet of our lives, both personally and in our communities. New systems are constantly coming online, but cities are already using technology to enhance public access to the internet and digital communications, to control lighting and limit energy use in the public realm, to collect and share data on parking availability, and to control traffic flow and signals. Urban design of the built environment affects the lives of individuals living in communities. Thoughtful urban design can improve residents, workers, and visitors' quality of life. Designing a range of spaces, mobility systems, and connections to serve a wide range of people living in our communities can help ensure equitable access to housing, services, and amenities for all. Communities designed with sustainability in mind can have a positive impact on our environment that can benefit us all. Incorporating healthy features in communities can improve physical, mental, and social well-being. Complete communities connect people and places and encourage interaction between people. Complete communities also provide people with choices and ways to get around, including walking and biking. Complete communities also create economic, environmental, social, and physical value. Finally, complete communities can serve our precious environmental, social, and cultural resources. They enhance the world instead of making negative impacts on it. This typical street can be enhanced over time to become a more desirable place for people to live and work. An environment can be made more pedestrian-friendly by widening sidewalks, making crosswalks more visible, and shortening crossing distances. Adding diagonal parking also accommodates more visitors, narrows the roadway, and slows traffic. Adding street trees can enhance the community's environment by providing shade and reducing energy use in buildings. Adding lighting and landscaping on the street can enhance the perceived safety and attractiveness of the area. Over time, upper stories can be added onto buildings on both sides of the street, gradually turning one-story main streets into 3- and 4-story main streets. Ideally, this housing serves a mix of incomes and household types. Adding well-designed buildings can enhance the street wall and attractiveness of an area and create places for people to live in walkable neighborhoods with shops and services. Development and more opportunities to work and live can spread from the center on both sides of a street to enhance it further and complete the community. Now that you have additional information about urban design, you may also be interested in related presentations about 2 other important aspects of creating complete communities: community planning and architecture. Each of these three components is defined, described, and illustrated in these presentations sponsored by LA Metro in consultation with the American Institute of Architects.